Good morning, world. I'm hanging out with my bud Geoff. He's an Australian bloke and a new friend of mine. And we've met here in the Philippines, in the tropics, both on our own adventures. And I kind of wanted to do just kind of um, something that could be maybe inspiring about just boat projects and working on boats in general. And even doing things that may not be so productive, but they're fun. Doing like a small craft or an experimental craft, something that on paper probably doesn't make sense. But I love these type of projects because they just inspire me and I think about them at night, and I want to wake up in the morning and tackle this. But the practical man will say it's a waste of time. But my channel is about these type of boat projects, and what do you think about that? Just boat working, like doing some interesting, working on different boat works. Tell us about what you think about what I just said. Also about what your own boat works are.
The boat works. You always want to cheat or find a shortcut when messing around with boats. So I'm going to cheat by the answer here and use that quote from The Wind in the Willows, written probably 120 odd years ago now, by A. Millam, wasn't it? And The Wind in the Willows, where the water rat says to the mole, there's absolutely nothing more important than absolutely nothing more important, simply messing around in boats. But people forget the other more important quote in that very old poem, and it was simply that clever men build boats, but wise men buy them. And that should be the answer to any project you've got in mind. Forget it. It's too much time, too much money, and too much effort. And people have done it better. Hence what you've got out there, that little sports boat you brought. More.
Okay. You're looking at that. Yeah, I mean, he's got a good point there, and that's something that I've always known because it is smarter to look at what other people have done, all the evolutions of modifications that have gone into existing boats. I mean, for God's sakes, a homemade project, you cannot build a boat that's a full fiberglass molded boat or something of that nature. But you can do it in a factory, and hence, therefore, just buy a boat that's already been designed by architects and built by professionals. But there's something that captures. But what is there something that captures
fulfilling creativity?
It captures a man's imagination and his money, and so many have gone broke in pursuit of building a boat. Why?
Back in our suit. So, of course, with that creative bent, the poetic twist or bend, which it's a curse more than. But then again, it's the last frontier. So building and mucking around and creating your own boat is a wonderful thing. I remember when I was building the boat I've now only done, my main boat that I've got now. And when I was creating or building it off a set of plans, which was an established set of plans that evolved over, again, 100 or more years, that my auntie was asking me about the amount of money and time it's taken me. And when I was explaining to her at the end of it, she said, it sounds like a terrible waste of time and money and effort, but it also sounds glorious. So that's the answer. It's a glorious waste of time and money. Or more.
Let me
You go.
let me chip into that. Yeah, it is. It's definitely a waste of. Waste is kind of a harsh word. That's kind of more of a prudent way of looking at it, but I think there's something about a man's desire to create that burns through, can even keep a man alive, extend his life, invigorate him to dream. And I think the dream itself is the transcendence of the project. It's like the envisioned landfall, the what this vehicle can do once it's made and even more so made by your own hands. You know, it's almost like religious in a way, right? It's like the epic creator, the divine creator.
Oh, sorry, showtime. It is wonderful, and it is the last frontier. Let's hope it remains like that, where you can do whatever you like without anybody
Do you
coming in
feel?
too many.
Do you feel like
regulations.
you're like a divine creator?
I wish I had the courage to, build the things I have in my mind, but you always, I get intimidated by the know-alls of the world that would be stemming any creative juices I might have, or ideas that I might have, because the it's got to also pass muster. It's got to float. It's got to work. Otherwise, in this day and age with the technology and the research you can do, it's. I think it holds a lot of people back from making a dumb creation on a beach, especially when you do put the YouTube on and you're seeing 75-foot boats falling across the ocean. So to be messing around with ideas in your head without all that technology is a squanderous waste of time, and makes it even harder to be given carte blanche, and material and tools and time, and create something on the beach, unless you specifically wanted, like I'm contemplating is just some like old gaff beach centerboard, knock around hard, chine plywood box with a bit of style about it that you can drag up over the reef for diving, fishing, and trolling as a day boat, a knock around, throwaway almost day boat. Maybe without drawing too far, too
No,
long.
it's actually.
Go on, you go.
Actually, tell me more about where you are in your life. And you're an Australian man, and you have a boat. You've had boat. I think you said you've lived on that boat for 30 odd years. And I believe that you are going into retirement. And how are you transitioning? And tell us about that. How are you transitioning? Does that have something to do with this boat that you want to make, and you want to make it here in the Philippines? And how are you going to make this transition? And give us your motivation behind it.
I think if you've been a yachty, living on a boat most of your life, that you already done the rehearsal. You already don't know how to retire. I only ever worked half a year most years, and so half a year goofing off, and so retirement will come easy. It's the transition is that I'll be able to stay up here longer. And yes, and the plan is to build a boat here. Let's exploit the indigenous folk here while we can, and have them do the labour. I might have ideas in my mind, but my old shoulders won't do it on my own.
Oh, so you're not retired yet?
Yeah. Well,
You still have a job in Australia?
No, not.
Or are you freelance or something? Or
No.
so you're retired.
I was in the construction. I was a plumber,
Okay.
gas fitter.
So now that you're done there, so are you basically freed up now to just pursue your own personal,
Sure.
inspirations?
Yeah, and then again, you still got to find a place that you unhindered, and close to the beach would be nice, and access to materials, and what's important for me is I want a lot of know-alls on the beach to come on and tell me as I'm proceeding that it will never work. So I need a place where there's plenty of know-alls. So if you can tell me there is a place where there's plenty of Americans, a lot of know-alls in America. Tell me if you tell me a nice beach to go in the Pacific where I could go. There's plenty of know-alls who could come along and stem me every idea I have. That's what I'm really after. But that sounds a bit childish. But it's true. I think in other forms of creativity, I think people get encouragement. I think again with boats that it's like probably self-criticism and containment because of the amount of fabulous ingenuity and evolution that has gone on in the past, and it's been a slow evolution to where it's come to. So this is just talking personally. So obviously I'm trying to get back to some maybe a simpler, old-fashioned, more knockabout boat. Maybe the French had it right. French and the New Zealanders were always ahead of the field. The French had those aluminium hard chine flat bottom centerboarders 30 years ago. I think when I was building this boat in the early 80s, they had them about. And their theory was, if they do tear the arse out of it over a stone or electrolysis, they take all the equipment off and put in another simple hard chine aluminium boat. Simple maintenance and simple to build and easy to walk away from and not so pretty. But gee, weren't they practical and weren't they clever? Double centerboards, it's like stealing a little bit of ideas from Thor Hydro and James Warham, with the adjustable centerboards, the kick-up rudders and sitting on the bottom. How did we ever get away from that? How come Australia ended up following bloody, English or Europeans, where it's all these 6-foot draft bloody things? Every boat in Australia should have been a centerboard. That's probably what I'm getting. I want to create a centerboarder, a practical centerboarder, and then again steal from other countries. The schooners, the Americans, because of the rum running, evolved their schooners to be champion and the best-looking boats in the harbour, and very practical and beautiful at anchor and beautiful to come in and out of anchorage. So, man, I'm ranting on here, but so all these ideas rattling around. Wouldn't it be lovely to have the money and the time and a couple of American experts on the beach to criticise you as you went along and maybe with the interest in to have that creation? But like I said to you other day, good friend, was that I feel a little bit like Homer Simpson, given the go-ahead from his wealthy brother in the car factory. Go ahead and create me your idea of the perfect car. And of course, Homer's car concentrated on the pizza holder, the pizza oven, the microwave, and the beer holder, but nothing else was very functional. So my ideas could be very much like Homer Simpson's. It could be one hell of a disaster, and that's what keeps you in check.
Amen, brother. Well, thank you for spending the time with me. I think it's beautiful to document your ideas, and I know I respect you as a sailor, so this is nice to have as a reference piece. Also I can check my own ideas, so it's nice. I like one thing you said was also one thing about
glorious waste of time.
Geoff said that stuck with me is, we were talking about like, why are we doing all this? We both feel compelled, and I think everybody can relate to that. Like anybody in this field is that you're just compelled to tinker, and you're just compelled to get into these projects. These wasteful-minded, they're not non-productive, money-losing projects. But one thing Geoff said was the one beautiful thing about boating is that it's still a place where you can be a fool and be left to be exposed. And even if you pay for it with your life, well, there's a freedom in that. And that stuck with me.
That's worthwhile. Sit down for. It's a beautiful summer.
And all right, but we'll.
Wait a minute. I want to be the last to say all right. Not say all right, but that was a great important point. Is that it is the last frontier, but also how lucky we are and how wonderful it is to be able to do it. I've forgotten the point now, but it was to say that the creativity side of it and to be able to do that, and there's no choice. It's sort of what's going on in your mind. If you like. Boats, there's always the ultimate boat, the ultimate dinghy, and to be able to have your own ideas and get them off your chest is a wonderful to be able to do that. I've forgotten what I was going to say, mate. Sorry.
That's all good. Well, how about this? Let's end it with this. What's your day look like today? Tell us about your day. I want you to tell me about your day so you get pumped up to tackle your day. What's your day look like? You gonna have a big day ahead?
I'm gonna be messing around in the water, which is probably more to the point at my stage of the game. Relaxing the old bones and the lungs, rather than trying to create something.
Right now, I want to say, Geoff. One thing I really respect about Geoff is that he's like, I would call him kind of like a maverick kind of guy. He got alternative ideas. He has the push through to follow through on his ideas, and he's accomplished a lot. But also, what I like about him is that he is he's a man of balance too. You know, he's not like, you know, an addict, like a drug abusing kind of person. He's kind of moderate in his lifestyle, which that's also to me inspiring too. Is that you have, it doesn't have to all go one way. You know, like I think a lot of sailing, it's like this like overly counterculture, but it also involves like self destruction too, and I think that's kind of an ugly aspect of any kind of alternative scene. You know, I had it in skateboarding and graffiti, and it's kind of nice when you really break the mold. That's what I see in Geoff. You know, he's intelligent, but he has his alternative ways. But at the same time, he's an example of moderation and health and strength. And we need more like that, I think, for a healthier world. What do you say about that?
That's great to hear someone say that. But like I'll say again, my auntie and even my mother said, you know, it sounds like a waste of time, a glorious waste of time, the whole life. But the thing about you, something up there about the yacht folk, and at different times it's been different, you know, cliques in it or whatever, or different clusters of different type people. But the bottom backstay and the mainstay of it has always been what I would call, you know, outsiders or fringe dwellers or alternatives, or just professional escape artists. You know, another nice way to say it, maybe successful failures that we got out of the system with the least. You know, by got off the merry-go-round, we create our own little lifestyles, and that was a luxury, and that's why it's also luxury to be talking now about creating a practical centerboarder. You know, that was what I was going to say before. There was a lovely term I heard a long time ago, and it was that boats are a functional art. You know, a practical art. You know, and it was a lovely. And I thought so too. You know, where, you know, at 1D painting. You know. It's what for, you know. A bowl is not bad, but a boat, you know, gee whiz, you know, what's better? What's better? And so the people who have been building, especially the old-fashioned carvel boats, were got paid less than a slab layer or a form worker or a bricklayer, you know. And these were artisans, you know. There's still some in Indonesia by eye, around the Pacific, you know. Every local fellow on the beach here building an outrigger canoe. They've all got certain distinct styles and all done by the eye, you know, maybe a piece of string. But these guys should be given much more acclaim in my eye, you know, and because they finish off a functional practical art. And so I would love to be included in that if, before I do die, is that if I can assemble all the different little bits and pieces of the marvelous boats and aspects of boats and boat design, boats evolution, that I've seen over the years, and maybe somehow do a Homer Simpson type Frankenstein that maybe work, but it'll definitely be shallow draft and beachable. Catamarans are beachable, but only if they're solid glass or, dare I say it, those clever bloody Mumbies or aluminium type boats, which are all finally coming into vogue. But a beachable, practical knockabout boat, you know, why are we still lumbering around?
Okay, let me talk about that. Now that does sound cool. Aluminum is cool, and you're right about, you mentioned the French earlier. Yeah. The French, man, they always have.
Avant-garde, that's my.
Yeah, they're
French
always.
word.
Yeah, French are like ultra practical.
Mavericks.
And they took in the they have the infrastructure that they invested in, where they can actually make these aluminum boats. Because aluminum, you have to have infrastructure. You got to have a yard. You got the special welders and the gases and aluminum. You know, it's lots of extra tooling involved. But they did it because they saw the potential. And it's true. When I went to French Polynesia, most of the boats were aluminum, and a lot of them were owner built. But of course, they were. You know, you have to utilize one of these shipbuilding yards that has the infrastructure in order to build one of those. Even if you're building it by yourself, you still need the help. But well, yeah. Anyways, whatever you're saying, that's actually inspiring. Just to think of like a catamaran, right? So low draft, and then also it's made out of a material like metal, like aluminum.
Inch aluminium skegs or
so then you could just land that baby, boom, anywhere, that right there opens up a world of opportunities in sailing, in safety, in cleaning your boat, maintaining it.
Whenever you're ready, mate. I'm at the
And
front
so,
door that much.
all right.
Thanks,
All right,
mate.
well, we're going to
Thanks,
conclude
mate.
this, and it was good talking with Geoff. Cheers, bud. Thank you.
Well, alloy probably, apart from being more robust, it's also possibly healthier, which is a shame, but I think they're trying to develop vinyl esters, which are less toxic, but it's funny that probably what held me at bay was all the lovely things that they do make, all the ways to make boats lighter and simpler, which is the way to go, light and strong, were very toxic, in the past. Again, that's why it should have been hats off to all those guys building the lovely Carvel plank boats. But gee, weren't they a nightmare? I had one of them, and every time you bumped into a 20-litre drum, you were worrying about the 1,001 joins that could come loose. So composite boats and solid glass boats, of course, were wonderful. But
What's a Carvel?
Carvel, just round bilge, round Carvel plank Carvel.
What were they made out of?
Carvel was probably traditionally planking.
What kind of planking?
Wood planking, hardwood planking, but triple diagonal. Anything that's round bilge, I think. I think anything's round bilge. I'm not expert in anything, man. But I think any round bilge, there's like for steel or for aluminium or plywood, there's hard chine, multi chine, double chine, single chine, multi chine, and then there's Carvel. I think everything else was Carvel. So Carvel. Sorry, I think what I was trying to say was the Carvel planking plank boats of Yo. That they were, really a work of art. There was sculpturing every piece of timber, and having a knife edge fit, and hardly any corking and certainly no leaks when it took up. That was incredible. The Carvel plank boats, of the past. And when we think about how hard yachting can be now, having a woe because the electric bloody pump doesn't work, When I first got afloat proper in the late 70s, the old fellows were saying to me how easy it is and how lucky you are, because they said, I've used this all my life, this quote, and he said, when we had to go offshore, it was easier, a bit more worrying maybe. You had to buy a new almanac and an extra bucket, and I said, what's the 2 bucket and 1 bucket, the crap in the other bucket to bail the water until the planks took up, and the extra almanac. So nothing to maintain, very easy to get ready to go offshore, but nothing to go wrong. And wouldn't it be nice to be back in that era almost, Speaking of that, I want to go surfing in the next couple of days, but I got to wear hats, zincs, gloves, booties, protective helmets, and
Okay, Bob. Well, thanks
long
for
ago it was just a pair of board
thanks
shorts.
for joining us. The always dazzling, inspiring, and inspirational Mr. Geoff Rowley.